Welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, and as a venture capital investor who has literally sat across the table from hundreds of founders, I am so pumped to pull back the curtain on the world of startup funding for you today. I want you to imagine you have a brilliant business idea. Maybe it's a slick online store, a disruptive software startup, a killer restaurant, or a manufacturing company. You've got the vision, you've got the drive, but there's just one massive, unglamorous problem standing right in your way. You need cash to keep the lights on.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because this is the harsh truth that catches so many brilliant founders completely off guard. Most businesses actually do not fail because of bad ideas. They fail because they simply run out of cash. As an investor, I see this play out all the time. A truly great product means absolutely nothing if the bank account hits zero before the market catches on.
You see, every single business has inevitable expenses. You're going to have to pay for equipment, inventory, salaries, marketing, office rent, and technology. There's just no escaping this list. Now, in my world, we call the speed at which you burn through cash your burn rate. Ideally, your burn rate is covered entirely by your incoming business revenue. But in the real world, especially on day one, that revenue just isn't going to be enough. And when that happens, securing external funding becomes absolutely critical to your survival.
To help you navigate all of this, here is our roadmap for the Explainer today. 1. The reality of startup cash. 2. Scrappy beginnings. 3. Non-dilutive funding. 4. The equity big leagues. And 5. Structuring your funding journey.
Let's start with Section 1, the reality of startup cash.
Listen, as an investor, I can tell you that removing the mystique around financing sets the baseline for everything else you're going to do. Business financing simply means getting the money needed to start, operate, or grow a business. That is it. It's the core mechanism founders use when their initial revenue just isn't quite enough to survive the month. It's not magic, it's just a structural requirement for growth.
Moving right along to Section 2, Scrappy beginnings.
Long before you ever reach an investor's desk, you just have to survive. The very first funding option is self-funding, or what we in the industry love to call bootstrapping. This means using your own savings to start the business. So the crucial point here is understanding this classic founder's trade-off. On one hand, you get full ownership, zero debt, and complete control over your baby. Tons of wildly successful companies started exactly this way just to keep that control. But on the other hand, you're operating with severely limited capital, and you're taking on a much higher financial risk.
Now, if your own savings aren't enough to cut it, the second option is raising money from friends and family. These are the people who already trust your vision. The pros? Way easier approval and highly flexible repayment terms. The cons? Well, losing Uncle Bob's retirement fund makes Thanksgiving dinner incredibly awkward for everyone. Let me give you some free VC advice right now. If you take this route, always document these agreements professionally. You have to treat them like real investors.
All right, let's look at Section 3, non-dilutive funding.
This is the phase where founders are seeking larger cash injections but want to fiercely protect their precious equity, meaning absolutely no giving away ownership. The most common option here is a good old-fashioned bank loan. Banks provide capital that you must repay with interest, but to get it, you are going to have to pass a rigorous gauntlet. Banks will evaluate your repayment capacity, your business performance, your personal credit history, your collateral, and your business plan. A bank loan can absolutely accelerate your growth, and you do get to keep full ownership, but you've got to have enough cash flow to handle those monthly repayments and interest costs, because if you don't, it will absolutely sink you.
Now let's compare two other pretty unique non-dilutive avenues. Crowdfunding allows you to raise small amounts of money from hundreds or even thousands of online supporters. This gives you fantastic market validation and brand awareness without any traditional loan requirements. But, and it's a big but, it requires massive marketing hustle, and there is literally no guarantee of success. On the flip side, we have government grants. Many governments support entrepreneurs with development programs that are often non-repayable, which is just incredible. But they demand navigating highly competitive applications and ridiculously strict eligibility requirements. Both let you keep your ownership, but they require very different kinds of sweat equity from you.
Now for the really fun part. Section 4, the equity big leagues.
We are now shifting gears into the high-stakes world where capital actually buys a seat at the table. This is my domain. Consider the sheer difference between a bank loan and an angel investor. Unlike a bank that demands immediate monthly interest payments, wealthy angel investors provide funding, invaluable mentorship, and deep industry connections. But they certainly don't do it for free. They do it in exchange for ownership shares and a role in your shared decision-making.
Startups very often use these angel investors during those early growth stages to get that crucial mentorship without the immediate crushing burden of a loan repayment. And then we reach venture capital. The source material states it perfectly. Venture capital firms invest large amounts of money into startups in exchange for equity. They often provide expertise, networking opportunities, and strategic guidance. I really want you to hear the weight of that. VC is specifically designed for businesses with massive growth potential that are looking for extreme, accelerated expansion. It is not for the faint of heart, and it is most certainly not for every business.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the reality check every founder eventually needs to hear. The venture capital trade-offs are significant. You are accepting reduced ownership, serious influence in exactly how you run your company, and incredibly high expectations. While VC completely fuels rapid growth, it fundamentally changes your control over the company. You are no longer just answering to yourself.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Structuring Your Funding Journey.
So how do you synthesize all of these wild options into a coherent strategy? Well, the truth is, there is no single perfect financing option. The right choice depends entirely on 4 core variables: your current business stage, your personal risk tolerance, your actual cash flow, and your ultimate growth goals. Every single entrepreneur has to weigh these factors honestly for themselves.
When you map these variables out over time, a natural timeline really starts to emerge. If you're just starting out, bootstrapping may be more than enough to get you off the ground. If you're growing steadily and you've got the revenue to support it, a bank loan might work perfectly. And if you are building a high-growth startup that just needs to scale aggressively, taking on investors through angels or VC could absolutely be the better option. As you can see, your funding mechanism naturally evolves as your momentum and capital needs scale up.
So after looking at all of this, from scraping by on personal savings all the way up to multi-million-dollar venture capital, we arrive at the ultimate question. From the perspective of an investor who has seen founders succeed wildly and fail completely spectacularly, what is the best financing?
It's the funding that helps your business grow sustainably. That's it. The biggest check is not the goal. I've seen founders take way too much money and completely lose their company, and I've seen founders take just barely enough to go on and build an absolute empire. So as you look at your own business trajectory right now, I want to leave you with this. Are you raising money to build a healthy, enduring company, or are you just trying to fund your own ego? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.